Welcome to Eliot Hine TV on Ustream
and the District Knowledge Network.
I'm your host, Lefty Yo.
I'm your host, Messiah Brown.
I'm your host, David Boson.
And I'm your host, Katie Guire.
Joining us as a guest on the show today is DC Chancellor Dr. Farabee.
Our show topic is feedback for our future.
Chancellor Farabee, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Our first segment is Understanding the Chancellor of DC Public Schools, Dr. Louis Farabee.
Or what influenced you to pursue a career in education?
So there are two big influences that come to mind. First, my parents, my mother and my father. They were educators, and I learned a lot about life and work from them. And my second big influence was experience I had in college, volunteering at a local elementary school as a biology major. I realized at that time that I wanted to switch majors from biology to elementary education because I enjoyed so much the opportunity to teach other people how to read.
Take us back to the day on December 3rd, 2018, when Mayor Bowser appointed you as the next Chancellor of DC Public Schools. How do you feel?
Oh, I can still remember that day now. I was very honored and thrilled to be the nominee for Chancellor for the District of Columbia Public Schools. It's a day that I continue to relish in. I'm biased. I believe I've got the best job in the city, and I get the opportunity to serve 50,000 students and their families. And that's a real important responsibility, one that I'm proud to have. And I'm really grateful that Mayor Bowser has given me this opportunity, and I look forward to ensuring that you get the best education possible, and all the students in DCPS are prepared for the future.
If you could use one word to describe your work ethic, what would it be and why?
So if I was describing my work ethic, the way that I would think about it would be committed. When I explained to my parents that I was going to go into education and switch from biology, they reminded me how important this role is and how committed that you have to be. And this notion that you're responsible for the lives of young people. And to do that really well, you have to stay committed. It's not a popularity contest. You're not always going to be liked. And sometimes you have to make tough decisions for students that you're serving. And so it's something that I keep in mind, and it's a commitment that I keep with me day in and day out in my work.
How do you evaluate success?
So in education, it's interesting. There's no one way to define success because success comes in many ways. Success truly is ensuring that all of our students, when they graduate from DC Public Schools, they're prepared for college and career to take care of themselves and their families and be productive citizens. So if you think about all it requires to get a great job, to be a productive citizen and make contributions to society, you have to be well-rounded. And so when we think about success, we want to ensure that academically you're sound, you can read well, you can compute well, you can problem solve well, but also we want to ensure that you can be a good neighbor, that you can contribute in community service, and you're committed to protecting our environment, and do all the great things that we want adults to be able to do and should do for a great quality of life. And so all of that is factored into how we define success, but ultimately
This broadcast is brought to you by Eliot Hine TV on Ustream
and the District Knowledge Network. I'm your host, Leroy Reed.
I'm your host, Zola Coleman. I'm your host, Corey Thompson.
And I'm your host, Samal Mack.
Our show topic today is feedback for our future.
Joining us as a guest on the show is DC Chancellor Dr. Farabee.
Our first segment was Understanding the Chancellor of DC Public Schools, Dr. Louis Farabee.
Our second segment is high-quality schools at every level.
What is your vision for the DC Public Schools?
So my vision, as you described, is a great school at every level. And when we talk about every level, that's early childhood education, when you're 3-year-old, 4-year-old, kindergarten through 5th grade, when you're in middle school like you are today, and then ultimately in high school. And sometimes throughout the city, we have great schools at one of those levels, but not all of those levels. And so my vision is that we have that at every level in every community. And so if you want a great elementary school, great high school, you shouldn't have to go far. That should be something that's in your neighborhood, in your community, and accessible to you. And right now, we don't have that across all 8 wards in the District of Columbia. And it's my vision to ensure that we establish that.
How do you plan to produce positive outcomes within the District of Columbia Public Schools?
So going back to having great options at every level, beginning with early childhood education, getting a strong foundation is extremely important. So ensuring that 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds earn all the prerequisite skills, they master letter sounds, they know their numbers, they're prepared for kindergarten, and if they start strong there, we know that they'll have great success. So we are expanding early childhood education opportunities across the District of Columbia, adding more classrooms and adding more seats. And then at the middle school level, we want to ensure that our middle schools are more rigorous, preparing students for high school. Great example of that would be some of the work here in preparing students for the IB program if they were to go, for example, to Eastern High School, or AP courses, pre-AP courses in middle school, which is advanced placement, which is another opportunity for high school students to earn additional credits, weighted GPA, and then dual enrollment in high school. When I say dual enrollment, what I mean by that is students can take high school courses, but those courses also give them ability to earn college credit. And when students earn college credit, they're better prepared for college or work when they graduate from DCPS.
You are constantly having conversations with students, parents, and community leaders across the District of Columbia. What information is being shared with you from our community with regards to how we should move forward in education?
Oh, I've heard a lot, and I'll continue to listen to all of our stakeholders, and it's great to hear from students like you who have given me great insight. But once I hear some of our challenges and opportunities, then my responsibility to respond. A great example of that would be there was a lot of comment and feedback I received about deficiencies in technology in our schools. As a result, and through the leadership of Mayor Bowser, we are making an investment of $4.6 million in new technology in our schools to ensure that we get one-to-one devices, so every student has their own device when they come to school in DCPS.
And why is it important to cultivate partnerships within the District of Columbia Public Schools?
Oh, it's important because we can't do this ourselves. The staff members, the principals, the teachers are all working hard, but we know to be as successful as we want to be, we need to leverage all the resources in our communities, and so we need partnerships. We need partnerships within DC government agencies, like partnerships with Department of Parks and Recreation, or with workforce development. And then we also need partnerships in the community with our nonprofit organizations, our faith-based groups, all of the people around us who have talent and resources that should be touching the young people in our city, to truly ensure that you all are successful when you graduate from DCPS requires everybody in the community to pour into the young people in this city.
Now we are going to check in with Messiah at the Eliot Hine News Desk.
Welcome to the Eliot Hine Network News Report. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the United States. I am Messiah Brown. Now I'm going to swing it over to the Eliot Hine Network crew.
We're going to take a short break and we will be right back.
This broadcast has been brought to you by Eliot Hine TV on Ustream.
And the District Knowledge Network.
I am your host, Amariana.
I'm your host, Lyra.
I'm your host, Audrey.
And I'm your host, Cyrus.
Our show topic today is feedback for our future.
Joining us as a guest on the show is DC Chancellor Dr. Farabee.
Our first segment was Understanding the Chancellor of DC Public Schools, Dr. Louis Farabee.
Our second segment was High Quality Schools at Every Level.
Our third segment is Reach Higher.
You most recently tweeted, "Our schools and communities are stronger when our stakeholders are heard." Why is it important for you to provide a listening ear to the stakeholders within the District of Columbia?
Yeah, thank you for asking me that question. Glad you're following the tweets. Social media is how we communicate today. But it's really important that I recognize the community as our customers. And to serve your customers well, you must first understand their desires, their needs, and their wants. And also, from their perspective, what our challenges are. And also knowing that I am not a native Washingtonian, I am new to the city, actually returning back to the District of Columbia, and it's important for me to also hear from people who've been here a long time, who've seen a lot and know a lot, and to learn from them. And I wanted to do that as early as possible and as often as possible so I can, again, gain insight about how we better serve you as students in DCPS.
Mayor Bowser just recently announced that the district is receiving a $10.6 million grant to improve early childhood programs and services. Talk to us about the new Childhood Development Center at Ketchum Elementary School.
So earlier, I mentioned that it's so critical that we have a great school at every level and how important it is for students to be prepared for kindergarten and the services that we're providing for 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. But even before then, we still have groups of students who need appropriate supports when they're 2-year-old or they're 1-year-old. And so this particular early childhood education setting actually prepares students for pre-K and gives them an opportunity to have child care and academic support in the elementary school that hopefully they'll join as they get older. And so intervening and supporting young people as early as we can is one of the strategies we believe will prove to be a great strategy for preparing students for early literacy skills, kindergarten, and success beyond.
We've been on a 5-year campaign to interview President Barack Obama. Can you help us get an interview with President Obama?
I would love to do that. Matter of fact, we should work on that together. We would all, I think, love to have an opportunity to meet President Obama. So once we've completed this segment today, let's think about it and let's talk to the right people and let's see if we can get him here. And if we can't get him here, maybe First Lady Obama.
Do you have any final thoughts for the students at Eliot Hine?
I do. I would want to first, recognize your principal and the leadership you have here. You got a great person supporting you and your principal and all the staff members here. You were able to put on a great production today because you had someone that was preparing you for this experience. And I'm just grateful that you have exceptional educators that are supporting you. But the last thing I would leave you is, this is the first interview, I am told, of the year, and it's my hope that I can come back. So maybe before the school year is out, we can do a follow-up interview and get an opportunity for me to share a little bit more about what I've learned in my time in DCPS and spend some more time with you. And I'm really proud of this program and the segment today, and I've enjoyed meeting you all.
Chancellor Farabee, thank you for being a guest on our show.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
This broadcast has been brought to you by Eliot Hine TV on Ustream.
And the District Knowledge Network.
Have a great day.